Okay, welcome to Bare Metal. This is a channel where we are going to talk about tech things, interesting items around technology. And one of our first projects, we have this old gal. What can you tell us about her?
So this is a 5-year-old Xbox One. It's been pretty heavily used, I'd say, and it was just recently replaced with an Xbox Series X. We were able to find one. And we figured this would be a perfect opportunity to open it up and see how dirty it is and clean it and try to make it run better than it does. Because it gets really hot right now.
So when things get really hot in a PC, what is that usually a pretty good indication of?
It's thermal throttling, and you don't really want that. So
we are suspecting that it is getting hot because
of a lot of dust built up and things like the fan and just everywhere inside. So
if you can see this, we can tell that the main intake ports on this guy are on the top and then on the side panels.
Yep.
And then we have a small exhaust port in the back. So my guess is the intent was to draw fresh air from the top and the sides and exhaust out the back.
Yeah, and even you just running your hand over it, I can already see some dust flying in the air. So this is going to be an interesting.
Okay, we're going to try to open this guy up here. We're going to use our spudger, and we're going to take off this panel here.
Oh boy, there's a lot of dust.
As you can see, we have a lot of dust buildup. Okay. Pull that piece off.
And you're going to want to put your spudger in between here.
Okay.
So now you're going to put it right between the top black part and the top of the vent. Not gonna lie, for a bunch of plastic clips, this thing's built pretty solid.
Well, and I really can't stress how important it is to use a tool like a spudger in this type of application.
And it just says lift this off, so lay it down flat. So, there we go. There we go.
Okay, so whenever you're taking off a case like this, you're going to want to be careful, because as you can see here, you can zoom right down in here. Oh, just as I did, unfortunately, pulled off this ribbon cable.
Oh, that's going to be really annoying.
So that means we're going to have to reconnect that. But
which isn't a terribly big deal, but sometimes it can be a little annoying to put back in.
So yeah, whenever you're taking off a cover, you're going to want to be careful of the ribbon cable, that you're not going to pinch it or break it.
Like it says the ribbon cable, but not the point.
Okay.
Okay.
So as you can see here, we have a lot of buildup around this fan here. And dust all in the crevices here.
Or we can go even deeper. We can remove these two things.
Okay. So here again, when removing a cable like this, you're going to want to pull it from the plug. You definitely do not want to pull it by the wires. And as a matter of fact, I always like to take another tool like your spudger and pull up on the lip here. So be very careful that you don't bend your contacts. It's a very delicate wire.
We also have to remove our Wi-Fi connector.
That appears to be soldered on.
It's not.
Pull out. Looks like it is.
No, it's not. It's a bunch of tiny little metal pins that like are clamping onto it. Again,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So now you have to unscrew our Wi-Fi card itself.
We're going to go to our screwdriver kit and
We're going to figure out what type of screw it is.
it looks like it's one of these star-shaped screws. So using our bits from our iFixit kit. Thank you very much. And we can put it in our grid there, and then does this also have to come out? Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay.
Next.
We have to undo all these little black screws.
Okay. There's nothing little about that screw.
Apparently, I don't think that's going to fit in our screw sorter, but it's kind of hard to mess that up. That's why we disconnected it from up here.
Okay.
Next up, it should just lift right off. There we go. Okay. Oh.
So here again, the port that this Wi-Fi adapter was attached to up top,
We're supposed to remove it.
which has an extension to what the motherboard is, because this really is a computer underneath. So you can see that down here, and this is quite a dusty motherboard. If you can see that.
Ugh.
So we have our hard drive here, our 500 gigabyte hard drive. We have our CPU, which is under here. Here we have underneath our heat, our thermal, our heat sink, and our thermal cores here, or thermal exchangers, and our fan. And here's our optical drive. So do we want to actually expose the CPU, or do we want to just clean
Well, the question
this here?
is, do we have thermal paste to put back on it?
We do have some thermal paste, but I always am kind of concerned about disturbing thermal paste that is working, because
But is it working though? That's the question.
I believe it is. I believe it's getting hot, not because of the thermal paste breaking down, but because of all the
Well,
dust
this
accumulation.
fan looks like it's just clipped on, so we might be able to remove the fan and get to the grill underneath.
Okay. We can blow in because your compressed air, which is what we're going to use to clean this, has this spout. So as you can see, well, it's helpful if you don't pull off the red thing. as you can see, there's dust. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but there's dust all over the place. When you use compressed air for too long, it will start to freeze up on you. And so you might have to keep coming back to it. As you can see here,
Oh wow, that is
it is
cold.
pretty cold. You can see the
gosh.
frost building up on the can. Okay, so I don't see like nothing spilled in this. It was pretty well taken care of, except for the fact that it needed a good dusting. But if we were to clean a spill or anything on the motherboard, what would be, how would we go about that?
Our rubbing alcohol.
We would use
Q-tips.
Yes, our isopropyl alcohol. Why do we use isopropyl alcohol?
Because it kills stuff and it doesn't damage your motherboard.
So, alcohol is really good at drying quickly. And that is what's very important in this application. Whenever you're trying to clean electronics of any kind, using alcohol allows you to pick up the spill or the substance without leaving any residue itself, and drying very quickly.
Another really quick thing I wanted to note is if we take a look at our Western Digital 500 gig hard drive, you may be very tempted to upgrade that to a bigger hard drive, swap it out for an SSD or a faster hard drive. But the thing you got to keep in mind is this includes the Xbox operating system, which you can't just get. So maybe just get an external hard drive, because while you're in here, it's all well and great to upgrade that, but then again, you can't put the Xbox back on the Xbox, basically. It's not gonna, unless you can find that somewhere. So
It'd be interesting if you could do a ghost copy, or if they figured out a way, or like a byte for byte sector copy.
yeah, and this is something we could look into, but I mean, if we figure something out, we'll totally cover it. But for right now, just don't do it.
Okay, so what do you think? Pretty clean in here?
I think it's looking pretty clean.
I think so too. I think we cleaned out a lot of the dust. It's looking pretty good.
Again, it's definitely not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't terrible, I'll give it that, but it was still pretty dusty. Here, use the back as a reference.
Very good. Now, these adapters can be kind of a pain, and I don't know if we can get this on camera, but you'll see that there's a little groove right there. And that is supposed to line up with the slit right here. And actually, it might be... I'm sorry, the groove is on the back side. My eyes are going. They're not what they used to be. So it's... if it fights you, then you probably have it backwards, because there definitely is a right way and a wrong way to put those on.
So, do you want to screw that down, or do you want to put that on? No, I'll do the other.
You can do them both.
Okay.
Go for it.
Well, since this is probably going to be the worst part, let's try to put this on first, because we want our Xbox to have Wi-Fi. Actually, that kind of just went on there.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's what you want.
Is this still have the right bit on it?
Yes. I like manufacturers that use the same size screw head throughout the build. That makes it very easy for repair.
It does. No. I can already tell this is going to be very fun to get it to going straight. Okay, let's try the other screw first. Screw it over here. Do these come out straight?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Sometimes you just need a little patience.
Let's get our other screw now. Try to get it to go on straight. So something I definitely noticed here is that momentum is the key.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to screw it on slowly, it'll tilt and it'll be a mess.
Right.
So now
we
the next
need...
step is our front.
Right, we have to put that
We gotta get the ribbon.
ribbon cable back up. Yes.
So we finally got our front reassembled of our Xbox One. We figured out that the top separates from the front. So we recommend putting the top on so that the top and bottom are there, and it just leaves that little gap in the front. Makes it so much easier to plug in that little cord.
That ribbon cable.
Yeah, that ribbon cable. And then this kind of, you just make sure, so there'll be like little nubs that look like the connector would connect to, but it doesn't. It goes into the gap in between those, and then you just kind of like curve it up and it snaps on. So now that we got that out of the way,
Now we can attach our side panel and
start it up, and hopefully nothing broke.
all right.
It's weird how this doesn't.
Yeah, there's like one clip that just isn't quite aligned, but
Let's make sure our controllers still work. There we go.
let's test the network.
Right. Why don't we see if we can do some multiplayer in Forza Horizon 5?
Oh, just do a network test.
Okay, well, I still need to sign in for that, but yeah. We'll test gaming in a second. Settings. Go to our network settings. Okay, our Wi-Fi shows up. Let's test our network connection. It's all good.
All right.
Perfect.
So that means we got the network card reattached correctly. All right. And how's our temperature doing here? We'll do a very informal...
I can feel air coming out of that, so that's good.
So far, so good. It hasn't been on for very long.
Then again, no, it gets hot when it's playing a game.
Of course.
So why don't we go and do The game that was not really designed for the Xbox One that'll really put it through its paces, Forza Horizon 5. This is a newer game, so...
This is where I hand off to you, the younger of the team.
Yep.
Because I'm more about the hardware and the setup, and you're all about the gaming.
I mean, I know some stuff.
You know a lot of stuff. You're...
Temperature still feels pretty cool. Just loading the game, so... Come on, camera guy, back up. Thank you. Okay, so a little bit of stutters here and there on the loading screen, which, I mean, not really saying much.
Now, this is a game where you previously saw some major issues with the performance. I'm also curious to see if, after cleaning out our Xbox, if
I will
performance
say,
improves any. I understand it's not going to be great.
There, that's syncing so much faster than it was before.
Okay.
I don't know why unplugging the card and plugging it back in did anything. So we're gonna wait for a game to load. Okay, we finally got into the loading screen. So as you can see, our hard drive is a little bit slow. But again, if you get like an external SSD or something, it will definitely improve loading times. But as we do not have one of those right now, this is actually decent. Okay. Also, later off camera, I will try to overlap some of this with some actual gameplay, not just record on the phone.
You can cut a lot of this out too.
Yeah.
Like a Pedro just.
I like these flattering angles of view.
Welcome back, Will.
Hey, you know, out of stage. Okay, here we are.
Welcome back, Will.
So I will say, having an actual hard drive definitely shows its age on anything, but temperature wise we'll have to see how it's doing. Because like right now, for example, I'm pushing buttons and nothing's happening. I noticed this last night when I tried this out too. Nothing was happening. And like I pushed the Xbox button a few times and did some stuff and it finally worked. Like I can't even enter my house. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so now that we have it fine, let's try some driving.
So how does it drive compared to last night? That's right.
I will say definitely better. Last night I noticed some weird frame drops. And I could definitely tell it was 30 FPS. This definitely feels more like 60, so I could tell it's running probably. Sure. Why don't you go check our temperature?
So it's definitely working. It's definitely getting toasty. But it's not uncomfortable. I could leave my hand here all day and it would be comfortable.
Yeah, because before it was like you could burn your hand.
Yeah, you could really burn your hand. So I really think cleaning it out really did help a lot.
Okay, I say though, a game that has always been a problem in this Xbox, and I want to see if it loads first time now, is Rocket League. Whenever you'd open it, it says it takes too long to start. So why don't we see if that's fixed now? And look at that. First try. Okay, so it definitely is a little laggy, but...
Which you would expect. I mean, we didn't upgrade the hardware at all.
True.
And it is loading off the hard disk, which is also going to impact your response times until it loads everything into memory. However, you know...
yeah, so I definitely think that Forza issue is a hard drive thing, because when we did have the external drive plugged in that's upstairs right now, Forza Horizon 5 was on that, and Patrick, I don't know, you played Forza on the Xbox. Have you ever had that issue? Where it would freeze and nothing would work? No, so I definitely think that's it's very slow to load, and I would think it was trying to load in the world, so it was taking a little bit to do anything. But this, I mean, seems pretty good. The real question is, how's your FPS in the game?
What was standard FPS before?
60 with a little bit of lag. Especially like when I hit the ball, you would really know that, like, yes, and when you scored a goal, lag just seems pretty. Especially when I would get hot after playing. This isn't bad. It's not pretty good. Compared to what it was. So, cleaning out your Xbox definitely works. If you have like a little bit of a newer Xbox, like an Xbox One S or One X, first off, if you have an Xbox One X, probably doesn't need cleaning. An S maybe, but
doing what we did will definitely void your warranty. So make sure that
your warranty is expired before you do.
And compressed air, $5 can of compressed air. Even if you don't rip it apart, you just want to blow into the vents. That would help out a great deal.
Yeah. So, and also if you do break something, I've seen people on YouTube who take orders of things like Xboxes and PS4s and all that from people who are trying to clean it themselves. I'm sure even if you did break it, you can find something to help you out. Usually it's people like forgot to plug in their Wi-Fi card again, and so make sure you don't do that. This is definitely an improvement. So I hope this was informative. I hope if you do follow this, make sure you're careful about it. Make sure you're not just, hitting it real hard, pulling on it.
Plastic pieces, after all.
Yeah, because you don't want to break your case. That would really stink. If you get stuck at any point and something wasn't clear, I would recommend looking up some iFixit videos. Really helpful, really informative. So,
all right, and happy gaming. Good luck. Okay, so this has been Kevin
and Will
for Bare Metal. Hope you enjoyed the video. Welcome to our channel, Bare Metal. Hope you come back real soon. We're going to post videos regularly. And a special shout out to our cameraman, Patrick. Till next time.